What's up, Ryan Wiley? This is a rebuttal to your Is Taxation Theft video on YouTube. So Ryan, you claim that taxation is not theft because by staying here, people imply consent to the social contract. And part of the social contract is taxation and all the other laws that come with being here, the laws of the land. And this is not true. It flies completely in the face of property rights. And here's why. First, we'll start with an intuitive example. So let's say you own some land with a house on it. And by the way, all these arguments hinge on property rights. I'm assuming you believe in property rights. So let's say I come over to your house and I say, look, I want to spend the night in your basement for a couple weeks. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And then you say, no, sorry, this is my property. You don't get to do that. I don't want you to, whatever. I'm going to exclude you from staying on my property because it's my property and I have that right. And then I say, whoa, hold on. You don't have to be here, right? Nobody's forcing you to be here. In fact, you can leave at any time. So therefore, by you staying here, you agree to my social contract theory of me wanting to stay in your basement. Of course, you would say, no, that's totally ridiculous. Because I own the house, I own the property, I have some rights to it. And just because I stay here doesn't mean I forfeit those rights. All right, this is the core point here. Just because somebody chooses to exercise their rights and they don't have to doesn't mean they forfeit those rights. Like a woman doesn't have to walk around the city at nighttime through a dark alleyway. Yeah, she can leave at any time. There are some certain risks associated with that, such as being mugged or raped. That doesn't mean she consents to it. Okay, that just because somebody doesn't have to do something doesn't mean that therefore, because they chose to do it, they consent to whatever violations of their rights. The whole idea of rights, of property rights, is that you own something, only you have jurisdiction over it, nobody else. So your argument would make sense if the U.S. government owned all land, right? But even the government recognizes the fact that they don't. I would say they don't own any land, but even the government, by their standards, they recognize that they don't own all land, that there are private property landowners who own the land allodially. That means they own it in and out, they're not beholden to anyone. Even the government admits this. So what does it even mean to own property if you don't have jurisdiction over that property? That's the whole point, is that you make the rules, you can exclude people from it. As long as you're not violating the non-aggression principle, you can do whatever you want to your property. You can't torture and murder and rape people on your property, but outside of violations of the NAP, you can do whatever you want. So if somebody comes onto your rightfully owned land and just wants to go about their business, it is true that they imply consent to your rules, your social contract, so to speak, the rules of your land, because it's yours and you have rights to it. And of course, they're not forced to be there, but it's not just the fact that they're not forced to be there. It's also the fact that you own the land and you have rights to it and they don't. So then you go on to make, I wouldn't call it an argument, but that you go on to say that the ANCAP rebuttal to your point would be, well, what about poor people and disadvantaged people? They don't have the ability to leave. They can't leave at any moment, right? Then you make this straw man where you say, well, ANCAPs don't really care about the poor and disadvantaged anyways, right? They just love free market capitalism, so therefore contradiction and ANCAPs are wrong. So, I mean, you realize this isn't even an argument, right? And it's a straw man at that. Okay, I'm an ANCAP. I certainly care about the poor and disadvantaged. I care about the environment. I care about all the things that leftists and statists in general think that ANCAPs don't care about. So here's the problem. Statists think that just because you're against government doing something, that therefore you're against that thing in general. Like just because you're against public education, that therefore you're against education in general, which is, of course, complete nonsense. That would be like the equivalent of somebody saying they're against slavery, and then you say, what, you're against farming? No, that's completely ridiculous, and of course you know that, right? So, yeah, this idea that just because people choose to exercise their rights, that therefore they... because they don't have to stay there, they can leave at any time, therefore they forfeit their rights. No, that's complete nonsense. The whole idea of rights is that you have the rights, nobody else, and you get to exercise your rights, whether other people like it or not. So I look forward to hearing your response. I hope this has been useful and informative to you. Have a great day, Ryan Wiley.